In a quiet valley, tucked between rolling hills and dark forests, lived a boy named Jack with his widowed mother. They were poor, their only possession of value a cow that had long stopped giving milk. One morning, Jack was sent to the market to sell the animal, hoping to bring back food and coin. But Jack, curious and impulsive, traded the cow for a handful of mysterious beans from a wandering stranger. His mother, furious, threw them out of the window. That night, under silver moonlight, the beans grew into a towering stalk of green that pierced the clouds. Unlike the tale you know, Jack's decision would change forever. Once he climbed, he would never come down. The stalk stretched endlessly, its leaves as broad as sails. Jack climbed higher and higher, hands blistered, breath ragged, until he broke through the mist into a world bathed in dazzling sunlight. Above lay vast plains rolling across the sky, a castle so large its spires touched the heavens. Jack, small as a mouse compared to the stones, felt both terrified and exhilarated. A world of giants awaited. Inside the colossal hall, Jack encountered the first giant. His footsteps boomed like thunder and his voice shook the walls. "Fee, fee, fo, fum," he roared. But Jack, instead of hiding, lifted his chin. "I haven't come to steal," the boy said. "I've come to seek a chance." The giant laughed, a sound like mountains splitting. "A chance? From a speck like you?" Yet curiosity glimmered in his massive eyes. The giant led Jack beyond the hall to reveal a kingdom unlike any the boy had imagined. Herds of cattle grazed on golden fields. Birds with wings the size of ships soared overhead. Trees bore fruits glowing like lanterns. There were treasures indeed, harps that sang by themselves, hens that laid golden eggs. But there was also loneliness. Only a few hundred giants remained, cut off from the earth below, clinging to a forgotten age. That night, the giant told Jack the truth. The beanstalk was the only bridge between worlds. "If men climb it in numbers," the giant warned, "they will bring war. They always hunger for more." Jack listened, torn. He thought of his starving mother below. He thought of greedy villagers who would seize gold without hesitation. And he thought of the wonder he had seen above the clouds. To stay, Jack had to work. He carried buckets larger than his body, tended geese whose eggs were heavier than his head, and learned fragments of the giant's tongue. He was mocked for his size, but he was clever, quick, and bold. Over time, the giant saw that what he lacked in strength, he made up for in wit. Some of the younger giants began to respect the boy. He was no thief. He was something new. Meanwhile, down in the valley, the villagers stared at the enormous beanstalk piercing the sky. Whispers spread, treasures beyond imagining must lie above. Bands of men sharpened blades, prepared ladders, and plotted to climb. Jack's mother wept at the foot of the stalk, torn between fear for her son and desperation for survival. The seeds of greed had been sown. News of human stirrings reached the sky. The elder giants gathered, voices booming through the castle. Many demanded the stalk be severed from above. "Cut it," one said, "and we are safe." But Jack stepped forward, small against their shadows. "If you cut it, you'll breed fear and hatred below. They'll return with fire and armies. Let me prove there is another way." The elders scoffed, but his words lingered in their minds like sparks waiting to ignite. Among those who listened was Aria, the giant's daughter. She towered like a cathedral, yet her eyes were kind. She watched Jack struggle with chores and admired his courage to speak against her people. Slowly, a friendship bloomed. Together they wandered the cloud fields, sharing stories, his of humble valleys, hers of lonely skies. For the first time, giants and humans were not enemies but companions. Inevitably, men from below began their climb. Armed with spears, they stormed the sky, eyes blazing with greed at the sight of treasure. The giants roared in anger, prepared to crush them. Jack raced between the two sides, shouting, "Stop! If blood is spilled, no bridge will ever stand between us." His words slowed neither steel nor thunder. The first battle lines were drawn. The giants demanded proof of Jack's loyalty. "Return below and lead your kind to cut the stalk forever," they ordered. The men, too, turned to him. Guide us, they said, to riches. You belong with us. Jack, trembling, realized neither side truly trusted him. He was an outsider in both worlds. His choice would decide the fate of the beanstalk. Standing upon the stalk itself, wind whipping his hair, Jack cried out, I will not cut the bridge, nor lead thieves to treasure. If I must belong nowhere, then I will stand here, guardian of the beanstalk. The words echoed across cloud and valley alike. A boy declaring himself the keeper of peace. The invaders climbed higher, blades gleaming. Aria stood beside Jack, her shadow towering, her voice like a storm. Together they faced the raiders. Jack used wit, setting traps along the vines, twisting ladders into knots, tricking men into retreat. Aria shielded him with strength, scattering soldiers with her great hands. It was not victory through slaughter, but through cunning and courage. When the dust settled, both giants and men realized what they risked losing. Blood had nearly drowned hope, but Jack's defiance lit a new path. The stalk was spared. Instead of a barrier, it became a gateway, guarded, controlled, but shared. Traders and artists from below were allowed visits. Giants offered knowledge of the skies. Suspicion remained, but so did possibility. At its heart stood Jack, the boy who chose not to descend. In the valley, mothers told children that Jack had vanished into the heavens. Some said he was swallowed by a giant. Others whispered he still climbed the stalk, forever lost. But on moonlit nights, if you looked up through the clouds, you might glimpse a boy walking beside a giantess, laughing as equals. Jack was no longer the poor son of a widow. He had become the sky keeper, guardian of two worlds, builder of the bridge no sword could sever.